I have Iris and Kaitlin with me. We are doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. A 48-hour art check is basically you ask 3 questions. What have you done? What were your challenges? And what are you planning on doing? So, and then at the end, we're going to do a topic. So with that, we will just jump right in. Kaitlin, what have you done in the past? We're doing summer break this time because we've been traveling and stuff.
So I actually, because of traveling, I did something today, which is good. While I've been traveling, kept seeing this sign on the road that said gusty winds may exist. And I kind of like loved the sound of that. And I kept conjuring up this idea of a little boy who was like infatuated with gusty winds. And so I'm going to create an animation featuring this little boy. I haven't decided if he should be named Sully or Neil yet, but it's this little boy who wants to fly a kite, but the place that he lives isn't very windy, but far away is this mountain with these windmills. And so he's going to go try and fly a kite.
Oh,
so
cute. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And you did that sketch really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
No, like, it's really fast. Good for how fast you did it. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for how fast, I can't do a sketch like that if I spent
I normally can't sketch very well, but I'm trying to get better at it. So normally I skip the sketching stage altogether, but I want to, at least for this animation, really focus on getting the details set early on, and then hopefully we'll see if that makes it easier later on in the design process. So
all right,
cool.
Yeah. Sweet. Iris, what have you
So do you want to bring up my logo?
Yes. Oh, wrong.
So I really like inverted things. It's not really like a trend right now, but I feel like that's something that's always kind of like stuck in my head. And I feel like nobody can ever say my last name. It's kind of funny to see people like try to figure that out. So to make things easier, I went with like my first name and then like my middle name shortened. So my middle name's Reynalda. So if you shorten that to like Reina and then you shorten that to like Ray, Iris Ray.
I like it.
So
yeah, that's super cute.
So yeah. So that's what I've been working on this for like the past week, like on and off. So that's what I've been up to.
Sweet. So the past 48 hours for me have not been, the most productive 48 hours, but the summer break I've been able to actually do stuff. So let's see. The thing is, if I pull up my screen, I can't see myself, but so what I worked on was YouTube thumbnails. This is just one of them. It's a template because I have a couple of videos up on YouTube, and I just got permission to do custom thumbnails. And right now, the thumbnails were just like weird pauses of me talking like mid-word, and I hated it. And so I added in these custom thumbnails. I tried out something in Photoshop where I just sketched. I'm not a huge fan of this style, of myself doing this style, and so I probably won't ever do this again, but I wanted experience in like actually coloring in Photoshop. And so I did that. And then I just designed this thing for our 48-hour art check, the promoted post, and then the thumbnails for that.
Cool.
So, yeah. I don't think I've done really any of that in the past 48 hours. But it counts. That's what this is for, is to get more productive.
Yeah, for sure.
Iris, do you want to start with your challenges? Like, what were your
Challenges are. I forgot. What are our challenges again?
just stuff that's happening that's getting in the way
Oh, okay.
creating, whether it's good or bad. Challenges can be good still.
Okay, challenges that are preventing me from creating work.
Yes.
Like, so I work 40 hours, and especially this week, I work 40 hours a week, especially this week because I'm going home next week. So, correction, I'm going home on Friday, like late at night. So, because of that, I have to get a bunch of stuff done at work. And so by the time I get home, all I really want to do is kind of veg, eat some pizza rolls. And eventually it's like 9 o'clock and I'm like, it's too late to do anything. So I'm just gonna not do anything. So I think that's been one. Another is just like, so Kaitlin and I, well, all three of us, like we took our 462 class, which is like the capstone class for our emphasis. Just to explain if anybody's watching. And that class was kind of a pain in the booty.
Oh yeah,
I was nice to have like a break and to live and to be, not have to be like in a constant rush to make dinner or a constant rush to like I remember thinking I need to get to bed so that I can wake up tomorrow morning and get this done. So just like wanting to enjoy myself and just like remember that there's an outside and that there's people in the world that I can socialize and connect with. I feel like because of that class, I keep telling myself, I could be lazy for now. But this is good. This is good to remember, like, we have to constantly keep working that muscle in our brain, that creative muscle to strengthen it and get better and increase our skill level, I guess you can say. So, what about you guys?
Kaitlin, you want to go? Oh, hey Kaitlin, your screen.
Yeah, so the for me is it still frozen? I don't know.
It is not anymore. It's pixely, but it's there.
Oh, okay. Well, a struggle for me is poor Wi-Fi.
Technology.
And then the other project being, I want to do like this one where this girl is running away, but all you can see is her shadow. And so it's just her shadow reacting with the backgrounds. And so I have kind of been paralyzed. I don't know which one to go to work on because they're both very different. Like one's more arts, like technical design wise, and one's more technical story wise. And so I don't know which one I want to work on. And so it's just been me going back and forth trying to decide. So I haven't done anything because I haven't decided anything. So yeah.
That's fair.
And that's just me. I can't make decisions to save my life. So
I feel like that's a curse of the creative though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent 2 hours at TJ Maxx trying to buy a planner. Like I literally went through different planners to decide what planner I wanted.
Oh my gosh.
2 hours.
That's what we should call it, the curse of the creative.
Yep.
The indecisiveness.
Yep.
It's required to be a visual emphasis.
Yeah. True.
So I've had a couple of challenges, and not all of them have been bad. The first one, as you guys know, so something I struggle with as I have PTSD, and with that, sometimes a side effect can be memory loss. And I hadn't had that side effect until last semester, mid working on our project, because that's why you guys know about it. And I kept on telling myself, and this is like not at all scientific, I was like, my memory's going to be back when I get home. It's going to get back when I get home. It's going to get back when I get home. And I've been home for 2 weeks and it has not gotten back. And so it's kind of that like having to kind of process that it might not come back, at least not the way that like I had like a really good memory. It just might not come back to as good as it was, which has been hard because it's gotten me kind of stuck in this mindset of like, I just need to focus on this and getting my memory back. And it's like affected my mental health. And so then I stopped creating stuff because I got in my head. But that's what I love about this thing is that it's like forcing me to create. And I've been so excited about this because I was talking to Kaitlin about this. It's like, I feel such a nerd. I'm so excited to do 48-hour art check. And so that's why I'm like super excited for this. Other than that, my challenge has been being at home because in school, and I mean, even that 12-week, this 12-week animation project, and that was constantly go, 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 go. And then we did our group animation project, which was, you know, Saturdays from Iris, you were there way before I was, but that one night, and you were there too, Kaitlin, that one night in the Sporey where we were there from like noon or something till like midnight. Like, and that's just the way that the whole semester was. And so when we turned everything in, I had like major burnout. And then coming home and getting to see my family and having 4 dogs in the house, which I play with all the time, and just get distracted by them. And all of that stuff, it just makes it like harder to kind of get back into it because I'm like, oh, I can go see my family because when I'm back at school, I can work on my projects, or like, oh, I can pet the dogs because when I'm in Idaho, I don't have a dog. And so stuff like that. But I need to actually start working on projects now because I won't have time this semester to start new projects. I will have time to continue them but not start one. So those were my challenges. So as far as plans for the next 48 hours, I will start. I plan on trying to choose a theme for my sticker stint. Because I want to do a 30-day sticker stint. I've been telling myself I'm going to do it since like midway through the animation project. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a sticker stint. And then I started doing my animation for real, and I was like, I'm not doing a sticker stint. I was like, my brain like was literally made up of After Effects and wiggle expressions, and like in class I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to make this thing move. Like, not doing a sticker stint. And so trying to come up with a topic, because it's one of those things where like, even when I do come up with a topic like Kaitlin was talking about, where I'm probably going to come up with multiple and then be stuck in that like thing. So I'm hoping that with the 48-hour art check and saying my plan is to come up with a topic and have some sketches done by next time, I will actually do it.
Well, and I think sometimes the most interesting things can be 2 topics, like for sticker stints, doing 2 things meshed together can make really interesting stickers. So maybe you should not make a decision and do both.
Yeah, just like mesh everything together.
Yeah.
Something I saw my coworker do for, it was like a graphic design class. She did like a bubble map. Somebody gave her a topic and she did a bubble map. And from the words that she got from like her word bubble map, she made things.
Huh.
So she did like a shark and a saw. And she just made like over and over again, she would do it like 6 times for each like combination of words. So that's something you can do because you like word maps.
Yes, as you guys have seen.
So
yeah, I haven't even thought about that because that's something that I learned in Com 130. Com 130 is the beginning visual media class at our college. And that's something that was like literally taught by Professor Kerr in like a video for Com 130. And so I should probably do that. I haven't thought about that. So that's what I'm going to do. But that's all I'm going to sign myself up to do in the next 48 hours. And make the thumbnails for next week.
Yes.
That. So who wants to go next?
I can go. So my boyfriend's mom, she used to be state representative for Fremont County in Idaho, here in Idaho. And she's trying to be elected again. She isn't like in office right now, but she's trying to be elected again.
Mhm.
And she's needing like an update or like a redo on her like business card, because here I feel like here people aren't the most creative. People are very like old school here. So there's also a lot of old people.
Mhm.
And people also here are very like conservative, which isn't really a bad thing. But she's wanting something that's still like patriotic and that still says Idaho, but
Mhm.
that's also like growing towards like a younger group, from what she's told me.
Okay.
So I'm just redoing that just because she's given me the photo and she's wanted me to change like colors of her clothes so that it goes more. She was wearing like all purple and a dress, and that's not the most patriotic thing, but it's her favorite photo of her. So just working on that and see how it goes.
Yeah. That'll be cool. That's like a cool, even just like a portfolio thing. Like, oh, look, I helped vamp this.
Yeah, especially because she has like her address on her old one.
Oh.
And I'm just kind of like, do you want people to come to your house? Do you want people to send you money? And she's like, no. But she also likes to post a lot like on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, like just what she's doing. She'll post political memes. So she's wanting something that has like her social media, but then also has like a logo of an organization that she works for. So just putting that all together. So that's what I'm doing.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. Kaitlin, what are you doing? Yeah.
So I am going to continue my lack of decision making. I am gonna try. So I want to make a couple different expressions of my little character. I want to sketch them out, but then I also want to try and make like just one scene from my other idea. Because I want to choose one that I'm more passionate about. So I don't think I am able to make that decision until I delve into them a little bit more. So I'm going to do a little bit from both projects and see which one. So hopefully I'll have a decision by Friday.
Hope. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that is like a hard thing where it's like, oh, I think I'm passionate about this project, and then I start it and I'm not.
Yeah.
So. All right. So the topic for today is, why are you a creative and why are you here? Like, why are you in the 48-hour art check and why are you a creative? This one, as a topic itself, we discussed it. It's going to be a little bit more like story time with us asking each other questions, because I don't think any of us have had this discussion. Because
not with each other, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think we've had it with each other. Because we met just doing that group project, and pretty much all of our conversations were group project, and then one day it was, hey, do you guys want to do a 48-hour art check? And here we are. So it'll be cool for us kind of to hear each other's stories and just to like see other people's stories. So who would like to start? I need a little bit more time to think.
I can go.
Okay.
So I don't know. Growing up, I was always like into doing like the art projects in school. Like that's where I excelled a lot. Like doing stuff with my hands or painting. And then I hit high school And I was kind of like, no, I can't, like, I shouldn't invest my time in that. And I like started playing like basketball on the school team. And that gave me like a huge sense of like accomplishment and like, I guess, satisfaction. And I just felt like very complete. But then I got like an injury to my knee that it was kind of like, yeah, you can like let it heal and sit on the sidelines and not play and then play maybe your senior year. But then I was kind of like, it's like $500 to play. And I like to play, but I knew I wasn't like the best at it. And I knew like there were some days like my heart wasn't always in it. It was more like a way of me to get exercise and skip PE, which is kind of bad to say, but yet I still like enjoyed it. I just wasn't like in love with it. So when I quit, I like had nothing to do. Like I was like bored at home, like just I'd either just do my homework, just veg, and so then my older brother he took like a film photography class, and he would like show me all his projects, like we'd have to learn how to make like a inverted photo, or be in the studio, or make like dodge and burn, like the old school way, like the way Ansel Adams did it. It's a lot more complicated than people think. And like I was just like, I want to do that. So I like signed up for the class, and it was like they call it like an ROP class. So it was like a job shadow class, like twice a week for about 3 hours. We'd be like in the studio or in the dark room, like developing our photos. So like that kind of just took me to photography. But then I think my mom saw me like scanning my photos, because I was like, I want to keep these. Like, I took pictures of these. This took me like 4 hours to get the lighting right. So she was just kind of like, can't you just like put it in your computer with like an SD card or something? And then I was like, no, like you have like your negative, and you have to develop your negative, and you have to put that into your paper, and then you have to put that in all your liquids, and like develop your paper so that the photo comes out. And she was just kind of felt sorry for me, and then kind of felt like, why don't we get you like a real camera? And then that took me to just photography, like digital photography. And then as I was like here at school trying to figure my major, I eventually got to like photojournalism, which took me to like the comm department. So, and then from there, it's kind of like full circle. Here we are, doing a 48-hour art check. And I feel like for me, the reason why I wanted to do it is I really like, I feel like there's power in talking about things. You know what I'm saying? Like something about like sharing your story or hearing other people's stories and connecting with them is something that I really value. Sometimes I feel like I can't like be quiet, just because once I start talking, I start talking. So I don't know. I just like talking to people. I like hearing people's story. I feel like everybody has a story to tell. So, and I think you guys are hilarious. So here we are.
I hope so. So Kaitlin, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Do you want me to add your screen?
What?
Do you want me to add your screen?
Sure. So actually, it's funny that we never had this conversation, because Iris, we have very similar stories. So I grew up doing ballet, which I know I don't look like I did ballet, but I like ballet has a very distinct feeling when you're dancing. There's like a very like your soul just feels full. And so when I was in 8th grade, we moved and I had to quit. And so I didn't get to do it anymore. And around that same time is when my mom bought me my first camera. And that like became the replacement for dancing, because I had that similar feeling when I would like take a picture and see it. And it's like, oh yes, this is like so it just had that same feeling. And then I took a film class in high school and absolutely loved it. The dark room is my happy place. It's like, yeah, that whole feeling, it's all there. And same thing, I got very interested in photojournalism, and for a long time, that's what I wanted to do. I did internships. This is all the stuff that I took when I was at the Gwinnett Daily Post with my internship. And like for a long time, I really wanted to do photojournalism, but the longer I was involved with news, the harder it got for me to be involved with that, because you're just so connected to obviously I took a bunch of Kiwi football photos, but you're so connected to all the bad things going on in the world. And so I struggled with being that connected. And so I was looking to find something new. And that's when I took Com 130, the beginning class that we talked about, and got to design for the first time. And I, for some reason, got very competitive in that class. Like everyone would pin their projects up on the board, and then we would have everyone would be like, oh, I like this design and this design and this design. And then the teacher would be like, you guys are all right, but these three are really good. And I strived to be one of those three every week. I was like, I have to be the person that he called. I don't know why, but I got very competitive with it. And then I was like, I'm kind of okay at it. And so I just kept going with it. And it became this addicting feeling of the longer I was doing it, the better I was getting. And I still it's such an unhealthy thing, but I'm still very competitive with design. And I'm I have to be the best. And so that's how I ended up. It's weird. I'm a creative because I'm competitive, which is a very unhealthy attitude. And yeah, so I wanted to do this 48-hour art check because I just graduated college and I don't have a job. And my biggest fear is that I'm just gonna stop. And I don't want to do that. I spent 5.5 years getting this degree. I have been pushing for so long, and I feel like I'm decent. So, I don't want to, and so I figured this would be a great motivate me to keep designing and doing things that I want to do while I'm looking for a job, and eventually also when I get a job. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Someone please go.
See, that's funny. You're like, I'm done.
For you.
Well, I think it's interesting because you guys have very similar stories, and mine is similar but very different at the same time. It's interesting because all three of us started out with photography.
Yeah.
I did photography. It's going to be a little bit of inception because I have to switch the screen. But here was my very first photography page. I actually have been locked out of it, so I can't access any of this anymore. But this was my very first photography page. And I did that just because I wanted to add, how do I say this? I wanted to capture people's moments with each other. I love candid photos, and I would find myself, my little brother and my nephew would be doing something super cute, and I'd go take pictures. And what actually got my photography career started is that my friend needed her senior pictures done and didn't have the money to go get them done. And so I said, all right, I'll take them. Let's go. And I took my mom's camera, which was really nice and had a touchscreen and everything on it. I did not know what I was doing. And I just completely learned that day. It was okay, this is what ISO is. This is what it does. This is aperture, all this stuff. this is what highlights are, this is what shadows are. And so that was my whole time, was learning that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to be a photographer. And so I start taking photos of people, and I'm doing free photo shoots at my school and all of this stuff. And I have my friends saying, hey, can you take a couple of pictures of me because I need this? Can you do this? And I was doing it all for free. And I realized, well, I can't do this as a living because I'm doing everything for free, and I feel like a jerk if I start charging people now. And so I stopped doing photography my senior year, and I went up to Texas Tech University, and I forgot that I wanted to do photo and video and all that. I decided I'm going to be a psychology sociology major, and I'm going to be a counselor for kids in foster care and in, that are adopted but need it. Just like, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so I was in a sociology class, and I also took a communications class, and I had a bunch of friends that were communications majors, and I took this class. It was called visual storytelling, and it was about like the psychology behind the colors that we use in our stories, and the rule of thirds, like all of those things, golden hour. We would analyze different photographs. And I loved that. I was like, this is so cool. Like, why did I stop doing photography? This is my thing. And I was in a sociology class, and this is really bad, but like, I couldn't care less about that class. Like, I would show up and I'd be there, and it was interesting, and I don't remember anything that I learned in that class. But I did it, and we had a presentation in that class, and I was like, I'm so much more excited about presentations than I am about anything else. And I did debate for 4 years, so I'm going to be a public speaker. And so I dropped out of Texas Tech after one semester, and moved in with my adopted family. And they're like, okay, well, you're going to go back to college, because college is a very important tool that you need. And I was like, I don't need college. And they're like, yes, you do. So yeah, pretty much. It's like, I'm going to be a public speaker. I don't need college. And I was applying for BYUI, which is a place that we go to school. It's in Idaho, the middle of nowhere, Rexburg. And I was like, oh, declare your major. And I was like, oh, well, I'll do communications, because everybody kept on telling me I would be really good at that. So I'll do communications. And then it said, what's your emphasis? And I saw visual, and I was like, well, if I'm going to be a public speaker, I need a job that I can do. So I'll do visual, because that sounds cool. It sounds fun. It sounds like I get to do photography. And so I came up here and I took Comm 130 and got a 71, barely scraped by, and just said, I'm not doing this. My work is being graded based on what other people think I should be doing, and I am designing wedding invites for people at this point, like just using the Adobe products that I have for free in that class and designing wedding invites and doing photography. I bought my first camera, which is a Canon EOS 80D. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a very nice camera. It will not be replaced anytime soon. And I did a wedding video, and I just did all of this stuff, and I was like, I don't like my stuff being graded off of what people think. And I was competitive, like you were saying, Kaitlin. Like, our professor would like point out all the good things. He'd do everybody's critiques in front of the whole class. And so you would have your work critiqued in front of like that class, probably is like 30 people.
Yeah.
And like your work would be critiqued in front of everybody. And I was like, this sucks. Why would I ever want to do this? This is awful. And I got a 71 because I stopped caring about that class. And I switched to advocacy, which is now called organizational communications. And I took a class called group dynamics, because at this point my goal was still public speaker. And I took group dynamics, and I realized that advocacy is all group work. and that I dislike group work. No offense to you guys, because we worked in a group together. But I still don't know why I took this class, and if Professor Kerr ever watches this, he's going to laugh. But I heard that vector graphics was a fun class to take, and it was hard, but it was fun. And I was like, I saw, yeah, it is. It's super true.
Yeah.
But I was not I was still advocacy. I was like, whatever, I'm just in college now, I'll get a degree. I'm done. Like, I have like 3 years left, I'll just take classes. And so I took vector graphics, and the first day of class, he was the most terrifying person I have ever met. Like, I was scared. And I was in a class with Professor Kerr and Professor Rognan, and it was social media and vector graphics. And I walked into social media, and I said to Professor Rognan, I said, I'm taking your class in vector graphics at the same time, and so I'm going to take your class next semester because I can't do both. That was my first ever conversation with him. And I hope he doesn't remember it, but that was that. And I took vector graphics, and I was in Professor Kerr's office all the time. Like, how can I fix this? How can I do this better? I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do this. And I was like, why did I ever switch my major out of visual? And so I switched back, and I decided this semester, this last one, that I was going to get serious about it after taking vector graphics, and decided to do the animation project, which is just this thing. Just a lot of animation that had to go into it, a lot of video. There's a little bit of it. And then I decided I was going to join one of your guys' groups, and I joined the other group, and then I switched into your group. And I just, that semester, I was like, I don't want to be a public speaker anymore. I want to create things. And so I started off, that's like a really long-winded way, but that is like 100% what happened, because it was never like, oh, I'm going to be creative. And growing up, it was never like I was doing all this artsy stuff. I was in band and debate, so, and I love debate more, so it was super logical. And so it just kind of morphed into like this love for like, this is what I can bring to the table. This is what I can do. And I don't want to say, I don't like saying I'm good at it, because then I feel like I'm shooting my own horn.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like I'm pretty okay at it. And doing that, and it just became something that I loved and I couldn't live without. And so I still don't know the reason why I took vector graphics after getting a 71 in the very first class, but I took it and loved it and got like an 80, and then went back and retook Comm 130 because it was a matter of pride that I got a 71 in that class, and I got an 80, like 8 or something in vector graphics. And this semester I was like, I'm going to put in so much to this class that I get an A, and I got a 100, so I'm pretty proud of that. But I got a 100 while I'm working on like the visual capstone. I'm sitting here taking the beginner's class. But yeah, that's my story to it. And I wanted to do 48-hour art check. I was the one, I know that like I said it to you guys, and I said, let's, I want to do it. And Kaitlin, you just said, let's do it.
Yeah.
and then Iris was like, wait, I want to do it. Yeah.
I like heard it, and I was like, should I just imagine that?
You're like,
wait.
Yeah. And she's like, I want to do it too. And we're like, okay, like sweet, the 3 of us, let's do it. And I wanted to do it because I knew that when those animation projects ended, I was going to be done. And I knew that it was going to cause me to have burnout and stop. And I did that, and so that was like one of my motivations behind it, but the other one is the same thing as what Iris is saying. I like talking about these topics. I like, especially like the three of us, because I mean, we were alone in a classroom working on that project for hours, but we were talking about other stuff too. And we got into some really interesting topics about social media and photography and all of these different things. And so I wanted to discuss different topics with people that were like-minded, but also different perspectives. And so that's kind of why I did a 48-hour art check, why I am here. There's my long story. Couldn't think of a way to condense that. Like, I was sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, why did I take vector graphics? And then, like, as I start talking to you guys, like, I just find this story. Just, you know, Iris said she could talk for a while.
Yeah.
When I took vector graphics the first time, it was a practicum, which means it was like a once a week, 1 hour, where he just kind of like gives us all the information and go figure it out. And I remember like being scared out of my mind. Like legit, like I was gonna poop my pants, scared out of my mind. And then as I like did it, I was like, this ain't that bad. Then I did it again, like 2 years ago. And the whole time I was like, I can do this. Time management. Go ask him for help. Also just Google.
Yeah.
Use his YouTube.
Yes.
His YouTube too.
Mm-hmm. See, I talked to him about it, and I'm like, you know, after the watch project, you can do anything.
Yeah. You can figure it out.
Here's the other weird part. Before it was a class, there was a bike project.
I heard about that.
What?
Yeah, it was a realistic bike instead of a realistic watch.
No.
Yeah. Which
is
honestly, I don't know which one would be worse, because the watch has so many different. Like, if you do a zoomed out picture of a bike, you can get away with not making things look textured. Mm-hmm. But for the watch, it's so close up that you have to get the details right, or it doesn't look realistic.
Yeah. I just realized I didn't explain what the watch project is.
No.
The watch project is we have to take a photo of a watch, and then we get 2 weeks to create a photorealistic
version
watch in a vector. And at this point in time, nobody has any idea what they're doing. It's like the second project of the semester.
Yeah.
You like kind of start out like like it's literally like the hill kind of just like you go up,
you're vertical.
You're gonna fall.
Yeah.
That's what the watch project is.
Yeah, the watch project. That was rough. And I find it funny because he was like, this is a project that's going to crash all of your computers. And I blame that project a little bit for my computer crash. Last semester.
Didn't crash my computer as hard as the animation one did. The animation one killed my laptop. See, but that was when I had a crappy one, and now I have this nice one.
Yay!
Yeah.
When I took it, he was like, it was like the end of the semester, and he was introducing After Effects, and he was like all excited, and he was just like, if you want to learn more, like come up and talk to me. Guess how many people came up and talked to him finals week?
Yeah, I remember.
Now I'm like, I kind of wish he did have that.
Yeah, so. I remember that week he had like a lab hour, and I was in the lab, and I got so aggravated at After Effects. I just stood up and walked out. Like, I left my stuff. I just stood up and walked out.
Yeah.
I came back in. He's like, do you want some help? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I do, but like I'm prideful about it, but yeah. Like but yeah, no, I totally blame, because I wasn't even working on my animations when my laptop crashed. I was creating a style guide.
Oh.
And so I blame vector graphics for running my computer into the ground and me not realizing it, and then taking classes last semester, and my laptop died like week 5 or 6 or something.
Dang.
So, anyways,
Dang.
that class was a good time.
Yeah, it was something.
At least it wasn't the capstone.
Yeah.
Well, technically, my computer just stopped. Like, it just didn't turn on one day.
Oh.
Like, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna like do homework when I get home on a Saturday night, and then like, I don't know where Apple started like shooting this like icon of like a file with a question mark, which after doing some digging, it means that your computer can't find its software system.
Oh.
What?
So, and the lady on like the Apple Tech, the next day was like, you have to bring it into a store.
Oh.
Are there any stores here? And I was and I'm like skeptical to take it to like a Mac approved, Apple approved kind of stores because I'm just one of those people. So I ended up just getting a new one. Problem solved. So, but
Needless to say, all 3 of us are working off of new laptops because of what the visual emphasis has done to our computers.
I would be willing to say it might have been old age that killed my other laptop.
My laptop lasted a year. It was brand new.
Wow.
What kind of laptop?
It was Dell Inspiron, so it was like a touchscreen and everything.
Yeah, mine was 4 years old, so
yeah,
it wasn't old, but it wasn't brand new.
Mine was 6. No, mine was 7 because I got mine 2012. The thing is like my roommate told me that like she got a new laptop at the beginning of the semester, and the guy at Best Buy's was like, "Oh yeah, college students go through 2 or 3 laptops." So I'm freaking out over one, and I'm just like, makes sense. But
this laptop better not die anytime soon. I had to take out a loan to get it. Got the MacBook Pro, so this way it wouldn't die. Oh my gosh, 2 or 3? No, I'm good.
Yeah, especially because like we don't turn our computers off.
Yeah.
Ever like it's
well, that's probably why we go through 2 or 3. We don't
like we use it for like homework. We use it for like personal. We use it to watch movies.
Yeah.
So.
And I've noticed with this one, because on my Dell, if you hit the X, like it would automatically close out the Adobe products.
Mm-hmm.
And for weeks, I was trying to figure out why my laptop battery was dying so fast. And I realized that at the bottom, there should be like a class or something, like a little instruction manual when you get a MacBook Pro. And it's like, these are all the weird things that Apple does. But like, I'm like, what's this little dot under the Illustrator thing? And I realized that I've been running my Adobe products in the background for like a week. And this is when I'm working with you guys in Illustrator and After Effects. And I have Premiere open and After Effects open because of my other one. And I'm doing the web design class, so that's killing my internet, all of it. But I learned.
Dang.
Yeah. But I learned. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
Anyways. See, this is why we did it, because we knew we would get into interesting little side topics.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you stuck with this video all the way to the end, we appreciate it. Hope you found us funny and entertaining as we sit here and talk about our college and our laptop experiences. Iris, how much longer do you have? Do you know?
For school?
Mm-hmm.
So I got like a new, I guess, position. I got like promoted to our student lead for like my council. I'm just talking to different people. They're like saying how like it's good to grow with a company. It's also good to get like leadership experience. So I was kind of trying to like merge everything for the fall and then do an internship in the winter and then walk in the winter. I may still just walk in the winter, but I may postpone it depending with like my internship to like next spring. So been in school for like 8 years now.
You'll be out much sooner than I will be.
So
I'm still a sophomore, I think. I think I just became a junior.
gotcha.
I don't know. No clue anymore, which is bad. I should probably figure it out. But grad plan. So
Yeah. So
anyways, I'm gonna end the live stream. We can keep talking, but thanks for sticking with us to the end. If you want to find any of our stuff, it is all in the description, comments. I put links to everything that I could find. So for me, you'll have a link to my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my Twitter. For Kaitlin, you'll have a link to her Instagram, her Facebook, and her portfolio. And then Iris, I needed to talk with you because right now all I have is a link to your photography Instagram.
there'll be more.
Yes, there will be more links. I'm going to add those in. If you want to find my stuff, go straight to diuguidvisualcomms on Instagram. If you want to find Kaitlin's, go to Kaitlin
Yes.
Right? Yes. Kaitlin Inspirations, that's on Instagram as well. And then the link in the description is different than this one, but Iris, if you want to find her stuff and what is happening with her Instagram pages and whatnot, go to Iris Aguila. I said that wrong. Aguila?
Aguila? Yeah.
Aguila? Dang it. I should have gone with my first guess. Go to Iris Aguila at Instagram. Thank you for listening and sticking with it if you were here. And we will see you guys on Friday.